What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to No Life to Metal. Going to be doing a rock metal update. That's right, time for a rock and metal update. There's a few things outside the normal metal and hard rock in this particular pile, but whatever. I'm just going to show everything I picked up in the last couple months. It's been a few months since I've actually done just a regular 12-inch vinyl update. I've done a cassette one. I did a 7-inch video. I've got another 7-inch video I'm planning on doing soon. So I'm going to get right into this. Here we go. First one. There's a lot of Japanese pressings in here. I just kind of been on a kick with Japanese pressings, and I found a seller that I don't know if he's selling his personal collection. I assume he is, because I'm picking up a lot of these Japanese pressings in the United States cheap, and with like $5 shipping no matter how many I get. So I mean, that's just crazy, because usually Japanese pressings of a lot of these things we're going to see, I mean, the cheapest you're going to find them for is usually $30, and that's from a Japanese seller, and then you got to pay another $20 or $30 for shipping. So anyhow, we'll get right into this. Anyhow, Alcatraz, No Parole from Rock and Roll. Love this album. Saw this band on this tour. So, you know, it's got a kind of nostalgic hold on me since I saw them when I was literally in high school. Ted Nugent was the headlining band. Alcatraz is the opening band. They played at Six Flags Great Adventure on the big main stage in the back. So, Yngwie Malmsteen, of course, Graham Bonnet, former Rainbow vocalist in here. Yngwie was formerly Steeler, but fairly well known here, but this album brought him into the mainstream, and soon after he would go solo. But regardless, I love this particular album. It's got Yngwie's riffs and Yngwie's solos all over it. It's got Graham Bonnet's superb vocals, so it's just a great album, and I couldn't resist the price and the fact of getting a nearly mint copy of the very first Alcatraz record. Like I said, big fan of that one, and the live album too, the No Parole from Rock and Roll live that came out shortly after this one did. One of my all-time favorite bands from New Jersey, TT Quick. This is Medal of Honor. Now this one I bid on, and same seller, but thankfully nobody else bid because I got it for a good price. They also had a copy of one of my, I call it my grails, which is a Dirty Looks. I'm thinking the name of the album. Anyhow, it's a Dirty Looks Japanese pressing for Cool from the Wire, and yeah, I bid on that one too, but that one way above what I would pay for it. So shot up to almost $100. That was just the cost, not even including the shipping. So, but anyway, Medal of Honor featuring, of course, now everybody knows this band as Mark Tornillo right here is, of course, the singer from Accept, and I don't know, he's got like 5 albums out with them now and been with them for nearly a decade. But also you've got Dave DiPietro right here, who went on to play with Nuclear Assault for a short time. There you go. Anyway, this is a great album. It's actually early 80s, about 83 I think it was. So, and for its time, there's just nothing like it in my opinion. Just straightforward, balls to the wall metal. Saw the band on this particular tour, and Hellstar opened up the show. One of my all-time favorite vocalists, this is Ian Gillen. This is the Ian Gillen Band, which is different from Gillen, the band. So when it comes to Ian Gillen, you've got, of course, Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, those bands he sang in. But he also sang in a band called Gillen, which was kind of a new wave of British heavy metal band with, I'm trying to think the bass player's name, McCoy. Anyhow, they were more of a straightforward, new wave of British style heavy metal band. They were around in the early 80s, and they're kicking butt, playing all the huge festivals, whatnot. This is the Ian Gillen Band, which came before Gillen. Now, this is a little bit different. Ian Gillen Band was more of a rock jazz fusion, and anyhow, if you're a Deep Purple fan or even a Gillen fan, Ian Gillen Band is just a little different. I kind of enjoy it, but they're a band I've liked since I was young, so this is actually live at Budokan, so it's a Japanese recording, a Japanese pressing. They do Over the Hill, which is a Ian Gillen Band song, but they do Child in Time, Smoke on the Water, and Woman from Tokyo, all of which are very, very different from the normal versions you would hear, like from Gillen or from Deep Purple. And then there's also a song in here called Mercury High. Really good album, gatefold cover. It has all these have the inserts, obviously the Obi strip. They're all in pristine condition. I mean, it's just amazing how clean all these Japanese pressings are. But gives the gatefold. You can see there's the Japanese insert, which has all the lyrics and like a bio, all written in Japanese, of course. They all came in these nice sleeves too, although you can see they got a little bit of wear on them, but I'd rather have the wear on the sleeve than on the record. So, Ian Gillen Band, Live Budokan Volume 2. Now, this next is not metal or hard rock whatsoever. So, just a guy that I've enjoyed, for my whole life, and I actually prefer his instrumental albums over his albums with vocals on it. But this is Jeff Beck's Wired, one of the greatest albums of all time. Similar to the Ian Gillen Band, it kind of has a jazzy feel to it, jazz fusion, but just great guitar work on this one. This is an album I just can kick back to and enjoy. So if you don't know Jeff Beck Wired and you're into just solid guitar playing and kind of I call it relaxing. I mean, it's not like elevator music or anything like that, but it is very relaxing for me. Just fantastic instrumental music from Jeff Beck, who of course is one of the all-time great guitar players. People kind of lump him with Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page due to his time in the Yardbirds. And this one as well. This was, I believe, his third instrumental album at the time. I don't even know what year this one came out. Let's see if it's on here somewhere. 1979, I think. I can't see it. I don't know. It was around 1970. I think it maybe even like 1980. 79, 80, somewhere in that area. But again, another instrumental album. This one's kind of a less jazzy, a little more straightforward rock, but still a really good record. And a very clean copy again with the Japanese inserts and the obi strip and everything else. So, and one more from the same guy. This is Jeff Beck, Best of Jeff Beck, and this is one of those Japanese only compilations. This one was like $14, so I jumped on it. Now, again, like I told you, I like the instrumental stuff better, but I do like the stuff from his early stuff with the Yardbirds. Once Rod Stewart started singing for him, I just wasn't into it as much. But Beck Ola and that kind of stuff. But here we've got High Hole Silver, Lining, and Tallyman, Love is Blue, and Rice Pudding. I'm almost positive those are all Yardbirds songs, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe some of you guys know. I didn't bother to look yet. I really just got this in the mail last week, so I'm having a chance to really look deep into it. But then it's got Rock My Plimsoll, I've Been Drinking, Shape of Things. Shape of Things is definitely a Yardbirds track. But Rock My Plimsoll and I've Been Drinking, I think they're like Beck Ola era stuff. I'm pretty sure I listened to this thing. I'm pretty sure it was Rod Stewart singing. It's got a great take on I Ain't Superstitious, which of course is a classic blues track. I believe that was Willie Dixon's track. And then, let's see, got Plinth, Water Down the Drain, and a Mickey. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm kind of getting a glare, so I'm trying a different lighting today too. I'm curious, let me know if you guys like this lighting better. Some of my videos have been kind of dark, so I'm using a new program, and I'm just trying some new stuff. I got one of those cool little ring lights, so I'm running that little ring light. It seems like I'm less bright without becoming ghost-like. So, all right, another guitar album. This is Robin Trower Live. This is great stuff. If you're into like Jimi Hendrix style, hard rock, then the early Robin Trower is just the way to go. This guy's fantastic. He's just one of those guys that I've always wanted to meet and never have, unfortunately. But yeah, this is great stuff. So you got Two Rolling Stone, Daydream, Rock Me Baby, Lady Love, I Can't Wait Much Longer, Alethea, and A Little Bit of Sympathy. Fantastic stuff. I pretty much love all the stuff he put out, but especially the early stuff by Robin Trower is just unbeatable. Again, in fantastic condition. Got the inserts, it's got the obi strip, and like I said, all of these I paid well under $20 for. I think the only one I paid a little more for was that Ian Gillen Band Live, just because it's a gatefold. It's a little more rare than the other ones. This one here I've had forever as a U.S. pressing, but again, I love Japanese pressings. They just sound really clean. And I had 9021 Live. So I actually passed along my U.S. pressing to a friend of mine who I thought might enjoy it. Said he wasn't a big Yes fan, but this album is just spectacular. It's got a lot of great solos in it. It's actually called 9021 Live, The Solos. So it breaks it up. So you got Hold On, which is just an album track from 9021 Live. But then you got Sigh, which is a Tony Kaye keyboard solo. You've got Solly's Beard, which is Trevor Rabin, guitar player solo. And these are not short solos. They're not just them noodling. I mean, part of it is, they're actually playing something along to, the other guys playing with them, and then they do their solo thing. It's just fantastic stuff. You got Soon, which is John Anderson's solo, vocal solo. You got Changes, which is I can't remember where that one's from. Changes is not a solo. And I don't know if that was even on the album either. It might have been exclusive to this album. But anyhow, Amazing Grace, which is Chris Squire solo, and he does play Amazing Grace as part of his solo. And then Whitefish, which is Chris Squire solo backed by Alan White. So, Chris Squire, yeah, bass solo. Alright, this next one is one of the greatest albums ever recorded, one of the greatest live albums of all time, in my opinion, one of the greatest guitar players of all time, Michael Schenker, UFO, Pete Way, one of the all-time great. Matter of fact, today, which is Sunday, is the anniversary of his passing. So, but again, one of the greatest live albums of all time, ranks up there with, to me, with albums like Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous, Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East, and Kiss Alive, and you know, those kind of things. Ted Nugent, Double Life Gonzo. Peter Frampton's, I want to say greatest hits, but that's not right. Peter Frampton, Comes Alive. Those are just like classic all-time live albums, and this UFO album ranks right up there with them. This was kind of his exit from the band. Japanese pressing. This one came from a different seller. I still didn't pay as much for it as I usually see them for. Usually I see this thing going for $50 to $100, you know, including shipping. This one here, I ended up paying. I mean, I don't usually tell you how much I pay for stuff, but I paid $20 or $25 for this one and the next one I'm going to show you together from the same seller. So I was like all stoked, and the shipping was supposed to be $8, which I was like perfect. So it ended up being a little over $30 for two Japanese records. I was like, that's awesome. But I ended up, the guy contacted me afterwards, said, I'm from Japan, I can't really ship for $8, and it's like, well, then why did you put $8 in your thing for it? Which really ticks me off. But I really wanted the album, so I paid them the extra. So I still paid well under what they sell for normally. And like I said, these things are in spectacular condition. This is a gatefold double album set, and I paid with shipping, you know, for this album, probably less than most places I see. But I end up getting two albums. This one here, UFO, Strangers in the Night, which does have a slightly different cover, by the way, than the original. I should have pulled the original, but I didn't. And UFO Misdemeanor, which is probably one of their more unknown albums, because it was in the 80s. They were trying for a different sound. I think Phil Mogg and Paul Raymond were the only two well, of course, Phil Mogg was one of the founders. Paul Raymond had been in the band for years, and they were the only two left in the band that were, you know, from the 70s, let's just say. And the sound here is very 80s. I still enjoy it, though. There's actually a couple different covers for this album too. So, and I think this is like my third version of this. I'm a UFO fanatic, and I have been since forever. So anytime I see anything UFO, I pick it up. This next one is also Japanese, and I promise we're almost out of the Japanese pressings. I did, like I said, pick up a lot of Japanese pressings. But this one's cool because I've never seen it before, and I have the US version of this. This is Found All Parts. This is a Cheap Trick 10-inch, and as you can see, it's shaped really odd. It's 12 inches by 10 inches. Usually 10 inches, you know, are 10 by 10. And I have a bunch of 10-inch vinyl, and none of them have a cover like this. And actually, the American pressing of this actually comes with a 7-inch single. Apparently, the Japanese pressing did not come with the 7-inch single. It just came with this unusual packaging and this huge obi strip. I have a few Japanese pressings with these big obi strips, but because here's the actual cover. Here's the front cover, back cover, and then this is the obi strip. It's huge, so it's like an obi flap, and it kind of fits over top like this. So yeah, really cool. Again, another band I've just been a fan of forever. It does have a uniquely shaped, very well-worn sleeve, which has some Japanese actually printed on the sleeve, so I'm holding on to it even though it's a little worn, but like I said, better the sleeve than the record itself. Alright, one more Japanese pressing, and that's it, and then we'll get into some other stuff. Of course, you know I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. This is the third Joe Perry Project album, One Was a Rocker, and Japanese pressing, and this one was super duper cheap, and I was glad to snag this one. Again, in spectacular condition, and it has the original obi in it, it has the original insert in it. It even had the original poly sleeves, those thin, super thin poly sleeves that some of the old Japanese pressings came in, that are actually shaped like the record. I tossed that because it had seen its better days, and those things suck. So I put it in a, you know, one of those better sleeves. Keep it first of all, it keeps it more secure in the record, and second of all, it won't damage the record at all. So, and there you go. Those are the Japanese pressings I picked up. We did a show on Japanese pressings, I don't know, a month ago or so on the Metal Roundtable, and I just kind of got into this, like I said, got into this mood of looking for and searching out. So like I said, I found all those fairly inexpensively, and there you go. Right, the next one is an original pressing, came all the way from the UK. This is the last album this band put out, as far as I'm aware. Horrible cover art. This is Reanimator, Laughing. This is pure thrash metal. I shouldn't say that. Reanimator were pure thrash metal. On here, you know, they were getting into the 90s. So what was this? See if there's a year on the back of this thing somewhere. I don't see one. But this had to be like 93, 94. So they were getting a little more experimental in their sound. The seller who sent this thing to me, man, he put it in some flimsy packaging. And when the packaging came here, it looked bad. I'm like, oh man, that thing's going to be destroyed. Luckily, the record is actually in perfect condition. I mean, other than there being a little, you can see a sticker was removed, and it removed a little bit of the gloss on there. I mean, it's in really good shape. It does have the original inner sleeve, which is just as bad as the front cover, especially because there's literally lyrics over top of all the stuff that you can't read. And that's a little better. At least you can read the stuff, and there's some pictures of the band on there. But yeah, I'm still looking for the year, so let's see if I see a year on here anywhere. Because yeah, there's some experimentation. They do some little almost a reggae thing here in one track, and there's a little bit of groove here and there, but mostly it's just thrash metal. So year. Let's see, I don't know the year on this one. I don't know. I can't even see it. It's too small. I'm going to say it's somewhere in the 90s, early to mid 90s, probably around 92, 93 in that area. If I'm wrong, you can let me know. You guys always know anything that I don't know, so I appreciate that. But anyhow, there you go. Reanimator, Laughing, UK thrash band on the Music for Nations label. New album from this band, and a lot of people, it's funny, they're like one of the bands people love to hate these days. This is Anvil, and this is the brand new album from them, which is called Impact is Imminent. I've heard some people mocking them because, oh, it's the same title as Exodus. So what? It doesn't matter what the title is. But I'm going to say Anvil's put out some music in their last album, for instance, just did nothing for me, and I just thought the lyrics were silly. It was all about, I guess marijuana had become legal in Canada, and it was a big, you know, that was the whole album seemed like it was about that, and even the cover art was about that. Okay. Regardless, the music just didn't catch me like a lot of the Anvil albums have. And I'm a huge Anvil fan. I mean, since '83, I pretty much bought all their albums as new releases. I still have them, all the original cassettes, all the original CDs that I purchased from them, and I have the original cassettes of the first three albums as well. But this album, to me, is a return to form. It's heavy. It's got that, you know, Anvil sound. Now, would I say it's better or as good as those first 3 or 4 albums that, you know, most Anvil fanatics, metal fans love? I don't know that I'd say that. I mean, it's kind of hard to beat nostalgia or that original 80s sound. But it is a good album from them, and I quite enjoyed this one. I've listened to it twice already, and I'm sure it'll get plenty more spins. If you go back and look at my 2021 top albums of the year, you're going to notice that Anvil didn't make my list. Despite the fact that, you know, I love Anvil. It's just because I love a band doesn't mean I like everything they put out. I got accused of that the other day, which is why I'm kind of mentioning it. They're like, is there anything you don't like? You seem to like everything. And I'm like, no, there's a lot of things I don't like. But, I mean, when I'm doing a video like this, I'm not showing things I don't like. What's the point of that? So, I'm usually always showing things I like. So, all right, these next 1, 2, 3 are reissues. Then we got a couple more new albums, and then a few non-metal albums. Oh, geez, there's still quite a bit to go here, so I better get on it. So we got 19 minutes. I'm going to hurry up. These things are spectacular. These are the Sabotage reissues for Streets, a rock opera. Glad this thing finally came out on vinyl. I've wanted this on vinyl forever, and it's just never been there. This thing, it comes with a big old... I mean, these things are spectacular, man. They put some money and effort and time into making these things worth the money, worth it for collectors. First of all, they're gatefolds. Front cover, back cover. There's a huge, I mean, it's like a 12 by 12 CD booklet, basically, with can see lyrics and photos and liner notes and memorabilia. So these things are just spectacular. Really like the fact that they put some money into these. This is a double CD, double album. So you've got one bonus track on here, which is Larry Elbows, which is on the end of disc, well, side B of disc 2. And if I'm not mistaken, it's on a colored vinyl. Yeah, it's kind of a, see, there you go, kind of a cyan-y blue color that matches the cover, which is nice. So yeah, fantastic packaging, great sound. Every once in a while, you get a new reissue release where the vinyl doesn't sound so good. It's, you know, it's crackly and poppy and whatever. This is good. It sounds fantastic. So yeah, quite enjoyed these Sabotage reissues. It seemed like they're doing the whole catalog. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get Dead Winter Dead when it comes out one of these days, because I love that album as well. Next up, this is the same. I'm not going to go dig into this one like I did the other one, because you get the idea. But this is another Sabotage album. Obviously, this is Gutter Ballet. Another one, I actually have an original pressing of this on vinyl, but it is not in the best condition. It's the only one I've ever seen. It was given to me by a friend, so this one's going to be replacing that one. Like I said, I listen to my vinyl, so you know, just having an original, just for the sake of having an original, nah. I'd rather have one that sounds good, and these things sound fantastic. Sabotage 1989 studio album, exploring the more progressive sound, 180-gram vinyl, 1 LP gatefold, 12-page LP booklet with exclusive liner notes, and remastered for vinyl. There you go. There's a Chris Sabotage song. It was a very versatile album. It shows all sides of the band and where we were going with our songwriting, John Oliver. And likewise, this thing was worth, I buy anything from this band, but this is one that the packaging on it is just spectacular. If it would just been a regular reissue, I wouldn't have bought it. I have an original pressing, and it is in great condition, so there's no reason for me to pick up a reissue. I've literally got this on cassette, CD, and vinyl. So why do I need another one? Well, for several reasons. First of all, the packaging on this is superb. It comes with the free Crash Bang Wallop 7-inch, which I will keep with the record, and it's remastered, and the remastering they did is superb. It sounds so crystal clear. And if you know anything about these Raven recordings, they were all pretty much recorded live in the studio, especially those first 2 albums, which kind of gave them, you know, the production's not great, but it gave them that charm. You know, it was raw, intense, energetic, and you don't lose that with this reissue, but you do get a little more clarity in the sound, in my opinion. So on top of getting the remastered sound, let me show you what's all in here. This is going to be a long video. Alright, of course you get the high roller thing, which has all their different releases on it. You get the original lyric insert reprinted. And then you get one of those kind of booklets like I just showed you in the Sabotage, with photos and liner notes and all that kind of stuff. Repressing of the original Raven wiped out promo poster, and a repressing of the original fan club insert. So I mean, it's really well done. And then they kind of did I don't say mocking, but they did as you can see, it's on the High Roller label, but they made it look like the Neat label. So very, very cool. Very well done. Whoever did the artwork, that they put some work into it. It's well printed. It's, there's no bit mapping or any of that kind of crazy stuff you see with some represses, because it's poorly done. And then here's the 7-inch single that comes with it, and it's just on black vinyl, or is it? Maybe it was on. I can't remember now. Yeah, it is on. No, it's not. It's on purple vinyl or lavender vinyl, I guess. So the Crash Bang Wallop 7-inch also has Run Them Down, Rock Hard, with Mark Wacko on lead vocals, and I'm sorry, not Wacko, Mark Gallagher on vocals, and then 2021, which is an outtake, a studio outtake. So there you go, very cool release from Raven. Again, one of those bands, if you've watched my channel for any number of months, you realize how big of a Raven fan I am. seen them live several times. Got to see them just last year out in Georgia, and I'm planning on going to see them again this year, probably in California. All right, next up, one of those record store day releases, which I'm a huge collector of Dio stuff, Dio the band, Ronnie James Dio, anything. But man, this is just a money grab thing. But they know stupid collectors like me will buy this stuff anyhow, because it's an overpriced picture disc. But it's just Dio, and it just kills me not to have it when you know, as a collector. So, but it's only a 2-song EP. So you got Stand Up and Shout from Donington '83 and Rock and Roll Children from Donington '87. I have the Donington 2-disc set from both those shows. So what the point of this, I don't know. Like I said, it's probably just a money grab, but regardless, nice art on the front, very well done, and cool collector's item nonetheless. Another new release, this I believe was the 3rd album from this band, Patriot. And this, of course, Steve Souza was singing for this band on the first 2. They haven't, I don't remember who's singing on this one, but it's not Steve, but man, it sure sounds like Steve. See if I can see what's on here. This is on Massacre Records. It's a numbered pressing. There's only 300 vinyl copies of this worldwide, apparently. This is 160 of 300. Gatefold. Let's see, who did sing on this thing? Let's see if it tells me somewhere on here. You would think it would be front and center somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. So, but anyhow, regardless, if you like that, you know, the first 2 albums, you're probably gonna like this one too. It's that, you know, Exodus style thrash metal, and I just dig it. A lot of people hate their name. Yeah, well, whatever. it's you know, taken off of an old Exodus song. So, gosh, I wish I could remember who was singing on this album. Might even be his son. Yep, it is his son, Cody Souza. So that's why it sounds so much like him. Cody Souza, who's also the bass player of the band, is doing vocals on this particular album. So, Patriot. Another new release. This is iconic. It's okay. I was a little disappointed in this one. I was expecting something a little more hard rockin'. This is kind of melodic, hard rock, AOR. It's got a bunch of well-known guys in the band, so it's a super group, if you can call it that. So you've got Marco Mendoza on bass. Marco played with the resurrected Thin Lizzy. Marco played with Angel. Marco played with Ted Nugent. He's played with so many different bands. It's ridiculous. He was actually, I think he was playing in, trying to think what else. He's just played in so many bands, it's ridiculous. Marco Mendoza on bass. You've got Tommy Aldridge on drums. Of course, everybody knows Tommy from his days in Ozzy Osbourne, but he was in Pat Travers band and Whitesnake and just about every other band in the world. And then you've got, on guitar, Michael Sweet from Stryper, who does some of the background vocals, but not most of the lead vocals, which is surprising because Michael's got such a great voice. But you got Nathan James on vocals, and he's got a really good voice. It's very different from Sweet's voice. He's got more of a bluesy, whiskey-soaked style of singing. You know, it's got that little bit of rasp to it. So he's really good, and he's really well done. I guess, to me, I was just hoping for something a little bit harder rockin', a little bit heavier. But it's good for what it is, and I need to give it more spins, honestly. I've only heard it once or twice maybe now. So a few more spins, you know, might pique my interest a little more. You know how it is when you buy a record expecting one thing and you get another. Sometimes it doesn't hit you right away, so I got to give this one a few more spins. So iconic, Second Skin, featuring Marco Mendoza, Michael Sweet, Tommy Aldridge, and whatnot. This next one is really not metal, but just a band that I love for probably sentimental reasons, but regardless. So this is a reissue, and I've had an original pressing of this forever. This is a Dave Clark 5. It was super cheap on Amazon. I thank my friend Steve for noticing it and sending me the link. Well under 20 bucks. I'm thinking it was like $14, brand new. It is. They claim on all the ads I've seen online that this is this original cover restored. This is not the original cover. It is an old cover from the 60s, but it's not the original cover. I pulled that out so I could show you the difference, but it does sound good. My original pressing was my father's, so it's been around forever, since the 60s, and it's in decent shape, but you know, it's not in as good a shape as this one is. So I really enjoyed listening to this in this new reissue. It does have a similar back cover with the write-up. So here is the original, and here is the. You can kind of almost see the yellowing in the paper too from the one to the other. But here's the original cover, and here is the reissue cover. And as you can see, it's not the same photograph. This is the popular this is a popular cover that came out after the original release, but you can also see it says featuring bits and pieces literally printed on there. The original one did not have that. It just said Glad All Over, the Dave Clark 5. This one actually has a sticker put on it that's obviously been on there since it came out, which includes bits and pieces on there, which I guess was a big hit at the time. But yeah, this, not the same. Not the original cover. Still, like I said, glad to have it. I probably wouldn't have bought it if it wasn't so inexpensive, but it's just one of those things that reminds me of my dad, and you know, reminds me of childhood and that kind of thing. And I just dig, and I pick up anything Dave Clark 5 because of that. Sticking with the non-metal stuff before we get into some hard rock again. This is Kraftwerk, and way outside the hard rock spectrum. This is a reissue of their Radioactivity album. I just like their stuff. This is just something. Sometimes I just want something different, and I'll listen to something like Ozark Tentacles or Kraftwerk, and it's just something I really enjoy. So, Kraftwerk, Radioactivity, really nice reissue. Super thick sleeve. It actually has more than one spine. I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's actually got all the text on the spine here and on the actual spine there. And it also, you know, it also is very well done. The reissue is. Okay, where are we here? I've only got a few left. I'm going as fast as I can. Where are we in? 30 minutes. Holy crap! Sorry, guys. And I'm hot, man. I'm sweating. I'm sure you probably even heard the air conditioner just kick on. All right, so the new Deep Purple album. This is what is this called? Turning to Crime. This is all covers. It's okay. I'm glad I bought it cheap. I love Deep Purple. I'm a huge Ian Gillen fan, but this is, you know, it's all old, like 60s style rock redone. And there's a few songs. I actually like the back portion the best because they do Caught in the Act, White Room, and Shape of Things, which are great songs. I love those. But they do some old stuff like Rockin' Pneumonia, Boogie Woogie Flu. It's a decent version, but Aerosmith did a version of that, and frankly, Aerosmith version rocked it harder. They do Oh Well, 7 and 7 Is, and they do Let the Good Times Roll and Dixie Chicken. So, you know, it's a cover album. It's all covers, but Deep Purple have always been good about doing covers, and I'm glad to pick them up. The packaging on this thing is, man, they put some money into this packaging. It's on an uncoated stock, so it's got that kind of texture to it, but then it's also got this embossing, and it's got spot UV or coating on it. I don't know how well that's going to show, but all these little lines, you can actually feel the texture on them. And then the Deep Purple logo is definitely, it's not even a logo, it's just text, is embossed. And then all the photos, if I get a glare, see if I can get a glare, there you go. So you can see the photos have a gloss, probably, there you go, you can actually see my little ring light there. So, but it's only glaring on the photos because the photos have a spot UV coating. So really nice packaging on this new Deep Purple album. And you know, like I said, I got it very expensive. Vinyl these days on Amazon is what, $24.99 to $34.99 at the cheapest. Yeah, I didn't pay that for these, so I'm glad I got it inexpensively. And it's Deep Purple, so I would have bought it eventually anyhow. And speaking of Deep Purple, this is an original pressing. This is Love Conquers All. One of those shaped picture discs, and there you go. You can see the back. It's got that little paper insert, and yeah, so it's in great shape, man. I mean, even you guys, you can see even the plastic sleeve is like, it almost looks brand new, but it is not. It's an original '87 pressing. What was it? '89? I don't know. '89, whatever. And then trying to think of just Joe Lynn Turner was on vocals, right? Yeah, Joe Lynn Turner was on vocals on this one. So I haven't actually listened to this one yet. It looks clean. I haven't played it though. These things are more collector's items than playing this, in my opinion. So you've got Love Conquers All on the A side. It is a radio edit version, so it's not even the full version. It's like 3.5 minutes. And then you've got a long song side B, which is Truth Hurts, which is just over 5 minutes. But I'd never even seen it, so it was cool. I grabbed it. I was actually single hunting, 7-inch single hunting online, and usually if I find somebody selling a 7-inch single that I want, I'll look to see what else they have, because it's just cheaper to buy more than one and get the same shipping, and that happened to be the case in that one, so I snagged it. Crocus, this is another single, Midnight Maniac from the Blitz. This is literally a radio promo single. I picked up cheap. And then as well, this is Crocus, also from the Blitz album. This is Our Love. And this is a weird one because you can see that censor label is huge. It's like double the size of a regular censor label. And I've got some center labels that are big, but I don't think I've ever seen one quite that big. And it's on a clear vinyl, and it is literally just a single that was not sold. It says for promo use only, so I'm assuming this is something that probably went to radio stations and that kind of thing for them to play. I don't think it was ever sold. I've never seen one. So pretty cool regardless. Just one of those collector's items from bands I loved from my heyday, back in the day. Alright, and one more single. This is definitely a radio promo single for TT Quick's Glad All Over, a band I showed you at the very beginning from that particular album. And also the song Glad All Over is actually the cover of the Dave Clark 5 song from the other album I showed you from Dave Clark 5 just a few minutes ago. So there you go. Very cool. Like I said, I collect anything TT Quick, and this is just one I didn't have. It's in really good condition. I mean, other than the sticker, which I'm going to leave on there. I noticed that the person selling these, all their promo singles that they were selling had a sticker on there, so he probably had the names up top like this so that he could just flip through, his singles and pull out the one he wanted easily. So whatever, kind of cool. All right, last album I'm going to show for this edition is Brockus Helm, kind of an underground cult favorite band by a lot of people, and this is actually a double album gatefold with early demos on it. And so you've got Into the Battle demos from '83, you've got Black Death demos from '87, you've got Helm's Deep demos from '89, and then you've got the Ghost Story EP from 1994. So really cool. Their stuff has all been repressed recently, and I grabbed them before they disappear because, like I said, they're kind of an underground cult favorite, so they disappear as quickly as they show up. So Brockus Helm, and what was this one called? Demonstration of Might. There you go. Anyhow, that's my rock metal updates for August of 2022. Appreciate y'all watching. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.